Hello, Gary.
Chris, how you doing, mate?
Top man. Look, what is that coming over the hill? It is Gary Elphick. It's Gary Elphick. How are you, fella? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad. All good. All good. Yeah, all good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, no, very good. Very good, sir. We are joined by the wonderful Gary Elphick, former Brighton, Eastbourne Borough, St Albans, Aldershot Town, Havant and Waterlooville, Eastleigh, Tonbridge Angels, Lewis, Worthing and Burgess Hill player.
Yeah, amazing. I'm still alive after that club. Yeah, amount of clubs, isn't it? Crikey. Yeah,
put a few miles in there. What was it? First of all, start cracking off with your beginning of your career.
Yeah.
What was it like going through that Brighton system? And,
incredible. Very good. We was backs to the walls as a club at that time with Dean. Hardly had any facilities really. And considering we had, I think it was a couple of promotions when I was at the club going sort of back and forth from League One to the Championship. An incredible achievement. But what it was all about the dressing room. It was proper old school guys that were just devoted themselves to their career. None of them really that special, but just real hard grafters. And straight away, you was brought up on great work ethic and camaraderie. And no, it was a joy to be involved with. And you couldn't have had a better education going into football, basically.
Yeah, because you were there, and was it around the same time as your brother?
Yeah, so Tommy's a couple of years younger than me. I managed to just start. I think I was on the bench sort of 20 odd times for Brighton in the Champ, and then Tommy hadn't really. Him and Joel Lynch went to Bognor Regis on loan, and they were sort of like in the playoffs, and they were two sort of 17-year-olds playing at centre half. So I knew they were coming up through the system as well, but hopefully, I think I helped him settle in, and he sort of saw what was needed just to get a pro contract, and he's gone and had a fantastic career.
Can you remember your debut, your league debut for the Seagulls?
Yeah, it was. It was dreadful, to be honest with you, Chris.
Sorry, mate. Because I didn't know it, so I'll just ask you.
Yeah, I got. So sorry. For my debut, I come on as a striker in the last 10 minutes against Sheffield United.
Oh, okay.
And then for my full playing debut from the start, I played against Reading. Unfortunately, I was sent off after 65 minutes. So I had 2 yellow cards. And then Was it harsh? Yeah, I got booked within. It must have been, and this is no word of a lie, within 5 seconds of kickoff. I had a tussle with Kevin Doyle, shoulder to shoulder, and believe it or not, the ref was from St Albans. And he booked me on 5 seconds in my debut. And then I'll be honest with you, I knew I was on a tightrope because they still hold the record now, Reading, for the amount of championship points ever received on promotion. So I knew, straight away I was up against it. And never played again. Bit depressed after that, and it could have, it was bad. Yeah, really bad, to be honest with you. But it also makes a man out of you when you come through adversity like that, and you're a more I always think you're a more rounded human being when you've gone through stuff like that. So you come out the other side, you've done well.
Yeah. I mean, I remember because I used to go up to the Withdean. Like I used to work at Eastbourne Hospital, and we'd take people up to the Withdean all the time.
Yeah,
I mean that was a place that was. But I mean, what were the facilities like there? Because I mean, it was what it was.
Yeah, no, it was proper tin pot. It was. You was getting changed in porter cabins that were erected newly every season, just so you could play going around an athletics track. But also, I do think, looking back on it, that's why we had the success we did, because I remember we had Wolves coming down with Paul Ince, Jolien Lescott, and people like that. And I remember my brother beating Man City there in the Carabao Cup, and it was just not a lot of teams like coming down there.
Fancy it.
No, and especially as I say, with our the grittiness of the squad we had, we always thought we could be a game for anyone. Actually, it sort of worked to our advantage.
Yeah, I mean, look, funny enough, the last time I went to the Withdean, old Dishy Des and Alan Kirbishley were there. As I was going through the turnstile, I'm like, hang on, what's getting this? All all the top people. But tons of scouts were there at the time. I mean, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, well, I think it would, because to be honest, like you look, the youth system, the amount of players it churned out at that time, I could understand why we had so many good youngsters coming through, and you know, a lot of them went on and done the business, and you can see why there were a lot of scouts there having a look at players.
Obviously, Dishy Des wasn't a scout; he was just Dishy Des. But who was the other fella? There was Kirbishley. Who's the other fella that was a Charlton manager?
They used to have he weren't his big assistant. He had an assistant. He used to be a goalkeeper, Marvin Day.
I remember Marvin Day used to be the Villa goalie.
Yeah, he used to knock around with him quite a bit and go to all the games with Curb. So I used to see him quite a bit actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going off topic there. Why do you think Kirbishley never went back into? Because he didn't really go back into management, did he?
Strange, isn't it? Yeah. It is strange. It's just it's football, isn't it? As soon as you are a piece of meat. You can be forgotten within weeks in football, and it's the only sport like it. It's strange.
Peculiar, oh, sorry, mate. You're not a piece of meat, Gary.
No.
Get out of it, mate. I'm sure you'd give a slap to anyone that said you were a piece of meat. But I mean, talking about all the ex-players and that, I mean, any of that from that Brighton lot that you keep in contact with?
Who would I keep in touch with? Yeah, to be honest with you, like Dean Hammond, I would sort of speak to him a few times a year. I used to be very pally with Adam Alab when we was growing up through the youth system, because we went to the same school, so we was close buddies at the time. Obviously, my brother I speak to every day. So yeah, there's Adam Inchwood. You know, I originally signed for him down at Worthing. And you know, if I ever saw Inch, I'd have a chat with Inch. So yeah, there's a few. I wouldn't say I'm absolutely like bosom buddies with any of them, but you know, I could always have a chat with any of them. Really, all good guys.
So you left Brighton. You were looking for regular first team football. You went on loan, Eastbourne Borough, Aldershot, and you eventually ended up at St Albans. And you went straight on to becoming a player of the season. You were voted player of the season. Yeah, I mean they were in the National League. Were they National League? Yeah,
we so when I got released from Brighton, so I originally went I think it's for 18 odd games at St Albans when I was at Brighton as like a work experience loan, and we were bottom of the league. We were 10 points adrift. We ended up getting on the verge of the playoffs, and the manager there was a guy called Colin Lippiat, who's unfortunately not around anymore, but he was like an angel sent from above for me, because I was on the floor, and this guy had so much belief in me, got me playing again, and then we got promoted from the Conference South in my first season there, and then we went and played in the Conference National, and we would have actually stayed up that year, but Colin fell very ill with diabetes, and he actually stopped managing us in the conference, and our form took a real blip. But when I look back on it, he was incredible. He always put an arm around me and sort of said, like, you'll always be my number 5 at the time. And it was just incredible to have that support at that difficult time. And he'll forever will always be sort of, I'll be thankful for what he done for me. Yeah, he was a good guy.
It's amazing, those, isn't it? Those characters, isn't it, that can, you can either bring you down or they bring you up, don't they? I mean, it's like in any walk of life. I just think you need the rub of the green, a bit of luck, and someone to believe in you. And you know, that's hopefully what I try to do that with the Hastings boys. You know, especially the younger lads. You know, try and direct them the right way, because I know when I was that age, you're very uptight. You're worried about what people are saying or thinking, and it's paranoia sometimes. You worry, especially in football as well. As I say, it can be a cruel sport, and I think you can never have too many good guys in football. Definitely. Well, from everyone I've ever spoke to on this podcast, they've always said the best things about you. They've also said, like, they can't say it. They can't say the things, you know, that your team talks and all that. That, you know, I do like to get pumped up and amongst it. But then I suppose off the pitch, I want to be sort of in the back. I don't really want bragging rights or anything like that, especially at my age. I'm more than happy for other people to sort of lead the bandwagon. But when it comes into the four walls of a dressing room and a pitch, then it's just my nature. I'm fully pumped. So yeah. Here we go. You then moved on to Havant and Waterlooville.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm just when I was checking this, it was obviously they went on that cup run, didn't they? When they went to Liverpool, but you unfortunately you were cup tied.
Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest regrets ever. I started the season at St Albans, but to be honest with you, I was travelling from Brighton, and the travelling was getting horrendous, and I was getting a few sort of hamstring niggles at the time. So I thought I've got to try and get a little bit more local. Went to Havant, played every league game, but unfortunately I played for St Albans in the FA Cup, and that ruled me out. But it was incredible to be around. And actually, the following year, we ended up being on ITV. We played Brentford. We beat Crawley on the way, and that sort of made up for it a little bit. Not as huge as playing Liverpool, because I remember we went 2-1 up, and I was in the dugout, and they brought Gerrard and Carragher on. They was worried, over having a Waterlooville, which when you look, it's unheard of, And at that time as well, the FA Cup, not many big teams were playing weekend sides, and they sort of used to go for it a little bit. So, they had some big stars playing, Alonso, Crouch, and people like that. And to be 2-1 up at Anfield it was just pinch yourself. You couldn't believe it.
Yeah. That is the one shame about the FA Cup. I mean, it's a joy at obviously our non-league level, the run up to the bigger games. But you see some of these top sides, they don't put a side out, do they? And it's a real shame for someone that's older. I remember when people put out proper teams. So
usually, I remember being young, and the FA Cup, some would come round. It used to be a massive day, and I don't know. Sometimes I always think maybe if they put like a Champions League qualification on it,
absolutely,
that might turn the screw a little bit. But I'm not part of the FA, so I don't want to miss Chris. Yeah.
From there, it was right. From there, it was Eastbourne, Eastleigh, Tunbridge, and Lewis. What was the level of football like at that time?
What I would say is actually it was really transitional, right? And that's a big word for me, but. Yeah, it actually went from, I remember when I was 18 to 25, something like that. You used to get a big number 9, and the elbows would be out, bang, straight across the face, and they'd look at you and think, well, you're either going to stand up and be a man, or I'm going to bully you for 90 minutes. And that's when I got to sort of 26, 27, you didn't have the big target man up front anymore. You started getting teams playing out from the back a little bit, and 2 whippets up front that want to run you behind all the time. So, I've seen a massive change in football from when I first started out to now. It's crazy.
So you mean like big lumps like Pete Heritage? Lumps like that,
yeah. Well, I remember like Newport away. I think I broke my nose twice in one game against a striker called Julian Alsop.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was like 6'6", and I remember at one point at Newport they've got a shot put net behind the goal, and I think I was in that trying to win an header against him. But do you know what? I actually really miss them days of football. I love it now. Even if the ball goes in the air, I'll go 100 miles an hour to try and win it. But I do miss having that physical tussle because it's definitely gone out of the game a lot.
Oh yes, I always remember because I was originally I was born right near QPR, so West London used to go QPR. So in the late 80s, I used to go watch QPR home and away, and we went up to Man U. Mark Hughes was the forward, right? He broke Alan McDonald's nose, right, and got away with it, the git, right, and then he broke Mark Falco's nose, and you think the size of that nose, it's like my one.
Yeah.
How have you done that as well? And he got away with it, the cheeky Welsh git. But top forward he was. But
yeah, he was. Yeah, strong as an ox. Yeah.
So obviously, I bet you've been to some remote grounds because I've been to Aldershot, and that is that's a bit desolate. That is, as I remember it anyway.
I was staying up there for a few months, and obviously, where I just got released from Brighton, it was quite a depressing time. But it's all army barracks up there, and to be fair, the support was frightening. I remember behind in the big stand behind the goal there, they would really get behind you. And actually, when I look back on it now, it was a little bit of a regret how it went at Aldershot. I didn't play my best football just because I wanted the ground to suck me up. Really, I didn't even want to be on a football pitch. But proud to have played for them, and it's a big club. But yeah, played at Luton away in the conference and clubs like that, which are all massive games. I remember being at Eastbourne Borough part time when we had a police escort up there. You go from doing a bit of plumbing on the Friday to having a police escort to a Luton game. You know, it's a crazy work.
I remember I used to bunk in there, Luton, when because they had a plastic. I don't know. How old are you, Gary?
No, it's funny because my son plays alongside Steve. You know, Steve Foster, the centre half.
Oh, blimey, yeah, Jesus, the old headband.
Yeah, he's got 2 twins now who are in my boys' team, and we talk, and he was talking actually, funnily enough, about the plastic pitch at Luton. So
because there was a stadium ban. You know, like no, it was home fans only. So we bunked in as QPR fans. It was funny, like half the ground jumped up. But yeah, it is a bit tasty at Luton. You know.
Yeah. So no, it's been a few good grounds, Wrexham and teams like that. So no, it's been all right. I've played some nice.
Yeah. So I mean, what is your what's your favourite, and what's your most like you've always had a shocker at?
Cool. Favourite ground. The favourite ground would be. I used to like playing at Cambridge United. That was a good ground.
All right.
They used to get a bit rowdy there, especially around Christmas time at St Albans, because like local fixture. That was good.
Yeah.
To be fair, Luton, Wrexham, they were all lovely grounds. And then probably Medeski would be that still sends shudders down my spine, unfortunately. Yeah. And the Pilot Field's got to be the best one, though.
Oh yeah. Don't forget that, mate.
So yeah.
Oh, talking of the Pilot Field, but just quickly, Wayne asked me to ask you. You need to get your brother over to the Pilot Field, all right? That's what he says.
Yeah, he'll come. He's out and managed the Bournemouth under-23s now, so he's gone down there. But to be honest with you, you know, I said to Tommy, he might want to have a little look because we've got some lovely youngsters coming through at the moment.
Absolutely.
And I think he's such a good grounding for any youngster coming through at Hastings with when they're full time. And with the management we've got, I think they've just got the balance lovely at the moment to bring youngsters through. So hopefully it's an exciting sort of next 10 years for Hastings. I really see it taking off.
Right, so we're going to Worthing now, right? At Worthing, while playing, you started managing, right? So how did that come about?
So I was 29 at the time, but I was on holiday, had a phone call from Adam Inchwood to say, come down to Worthing, captain the team, try and get a bit of enjoyment back. So I think I had a terrible couple of years. I didn't really get on well at Tonbridge Angels and Lewis. So I had a bad wrist injury. It kept me out for half the season. And it was a little bit political at Lewis with what was going on. So I wanted a clean start. Went to Worthing, and then within 2 weeks of signing for him, Adam got a job at Brighton.
Yeah,
he left the club, and the chairman rang me up and the vice chairman and said, "Could you manage it?" Which at the time I was always a bit worried because I was only 29. So I literally, really thinking I'm coming to sort of the pinnacle of my career, and it's a young, I run a plumbing company. I'd had my first son then, and it was a lot to take on, but incredible experience. We got promoted in the first year via the playoffs. Then we had another good season the following year in the Rhine Prem, and then I ended up because I was doing it as a joint manager role with a guy called John Meaney. But the joint manager doesn't really work, and we ended up going separate ways. I stayed at Worthing, he departed. But we talking about luck again and hitting the things at the right time. We had to ground share with Bognor for the first 6 games because our home pitch it was illegal, basically, the 3G. And I bought a couple of players in from London because we had lost some real good players to transfer fees. And unfortunately, we lost 6 in a row, and that was it. And you go from 29-year-old getting you promoted to first year and to sort of 31, 32, thinking, no, this ain't going too well. And almost looking at retiring from football really after that. You know,
really? Oh, right.
Yeah,
I didn't realise that.
Yeah, it took its toll on me really because, you know, Nagy, I tell you, when you speak to him, to even manage at this level now, it's a full-time job, and I was completely burnt out because I was still trying to play because we were struggling on the pitch. And basically, sometimes less is more. You try too hard, and then you're
spinning too many plates. spinning too many plates. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a great experience, one that I'll have always forever fond memories of. And obviously, you met Lloyd Dawes, Popey there.
Well, that's what I was going to say. How did you control them in the dressing room then? Gary,
of course. Yeah, to be honest, you could tell both of them, and that's why I've recommended them to Aggie. Both of them, they had frightening ability, and I'm almost, I suppose, even in the car, I'm a father figure a little bit to them both, trying to keep on the straight and narrow and teach them about life and that. Bit more difficult with Dawsey than Popey, but they're fantastic, and I know also what they had in the dressing room as well. They're there to fight your corner, and hopefully I think if Dawsey can stay fit, he's going to be frightening. And Popey, what I was saying about missing a ruck with a striker, that when I look at Popey and I know I've got to clip a ball into a channel and that, I know he's going to be running every day of the week, and he's going to be smashing into centre halves, and he's just a throwback. I love him. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, no, top man. He's a top man. So how is Lloyd? Is he got a knock again? It looked like he had a knock.
I'll be no. So he was cramping up, and then he felt. I suppose he gets a little bit paranoid, bless him, about these injuries because he's had a couple of bad years. But I've spoke to him yesterday, and it sounds like it was just cramp that went up into his hamstring. So he should. I would think he'd be training Wednesday again, and then going and building on that. But I think the target for Lloyd now is if he can sort of hit 5, then 10 games in a row. He'll definitely be the best attacking player you've seen in the league by a long shot.
Yeah, no, it was little bits of it where when he come on second half against Ramsgate, that intent and just. Well, he's so unpredictable. Do you know what I mean? Like, they don't know what he's going to do. The defenders don't know what he's going to do, and he's just running at them.
At any level, if you've got a player that can glide past players like he does, you can play any shape you want. But they're the sort of players that you're looking for to get your goals and assists. And he's special. Like, I remember that there was a ball he plucked out the sky on Saturday, and I'm looking at him just thinking, how has he done that? I would have wrapped my leg around my neck and broke my neck. But he's class. He is a class act, definitely.
Right, we're getting back to you, mate. Getting back to you. So we already know why you left Worthing. So you went to Burgess Hill. Do you want to talk anything about your time at Burgess Hill? Should we?
Burgess Hill was. It was a strange one, to be honest with you. It was a little bit of an old pals act where I knew Ian Chapman from when he coached my brother back in the day at Brighton and that. And he's a great guy. He's a solid guy. And unfortunately, just football goes in cycles sometimes. And it was one of the worst dressing rooms I've ever been in for character, for who wants to battle with you and that. And unfortunately, we had too many bad eggs in the dressing room, and things off the pitch weren't going great at Burgess Hill either. It's even now when you look at them, I respect them because they're run correctly. They'll never be in debt or anything like that. But it just needs a little bit of a spark, and hopefully Jay Lovett will bring that in time there. But it needed a clean sweep, and because Chapman's what he done there. It was incredible to get him to Ryman Premier, and that should never be overlooked either. But it was just it's just timing sometimes in football, and unfortunately, it was the right manager, probably the right club at that time for me. But unfortunately, it was a terrible dressing room, and it's weird actually. I found that a lot whenever I've played close to home in Brighton. We're very flaky with the players down this way, very fluffy, and that's what I love about Hastings. Because
I was going to say, Aggie ain't fluffy, is he? Don't tell me that. With him and Heritage and that, and Brownie and that.
Just training there the first few weeks and that, and as I said earlier on, the balance is there. They want to produce footballers, but they want to produce human beings as well that proper roll your sleeves up and get behind you, and that's what I like about Hastings. When the war cry goes out, they're 110% behind you to follow you in the trenches, and that's something that gives me the biggest buzz ever. If you've got a group of 11 men coming out on the pitch, all going in the same direction, that's the best feeling in the world. And that's one, as I get towards the end of my career, that's going to be the biggest thing I'll miss. You know, it'll be gutting that day when I've got to hang up the boots, because that's the thing that gives me the most joy.
You ain't done yet, are you?
Well,
come on. We got a
with
promotion to get first, mate. That's
my key. That's tunnel vision on that with Hastings, because you know, I just hope all the hard work pays off. It will. You know, hard work does pay off, and it will. I'm sure it will.
Well, yeah. Just getting back to the beginnings of Hastings. So, did you know Aggie before you come?
So yeah, Aggie tried to sign me when I got released. When I walked from Worthing, sorry, I had a conversation with Aggie. At the time I had Horsham, Aggie at Hastings, and I had Burgess Hill. And Burgess Hill was the reason why I went there was because Chaplin said to me eventually he might move upstairs to be in the board of directors, and that I would probably be given the manager's job there, which, you know, I got overlooked completely, even when it come up for grabs. But and now when I look back, I wasn't ready anyway. You know, things happen for a reason, and that's one thing I've loved about Hastings, is that every time I train, I learn off the best. Who's Aggie? He's the best non-league manager I've worked with.
English Jose, mate. In my eyes, mate, English Jose.
Yeah, he is. He's he's a deep thinker in that, and every day's an education walking into Hastings, and that's one thing I get a big buzz about as well. So it's been a blessing for me to walk in at Hastings, and I'll tell you what now as well, think about if I never played for this club as well, yeah, I would have been absolutely gutted, you know, because now after playing for Hastings and that, I do realise what a massive club it is in non-league, and I've loved every minute of it. I'm not going to lie, and like the record, you know, I've had since I've been down here as well. I think I've only been defeated in 4 games out of almost 60, which it's unheard of, really. I'm really lucky to have done that, and to do it with some great fellas as well.
Yeah, well, just getting back there, I mean, how did he sell the club to you?
He sort of said, "This is what we're looking to do," blah blah, on a text message. Which, to be honest with you, you can't gather much information. And I said, "This, you know, we'll meet for a coffee."
Yeah.
And he said, "Right, brilliant." And him and Brownie come down, and within 10 minutes, I knew this is the club for me. I just knew I was talking to educated people about the game that devote a lot of their time to it, got a vision, got a direction about where they want to take the club, and that, to be honest, that's what I wanted, and that was the only way I was going to get back playing, because I was just sick and tired of playing not for people, but I needed something that really just tickled my taste buds a little bit, and got me to open my eyes to actually, this is another way you can go with football, and this is how we do it here, and that's what Aggie and Brownie done for me, and I knew within sort of minutes that I'll definitely be signing for Hastings.
All right, and so this season, Gary, right?
Yeah.
What's happening? What's happening, mate? Where are we finishing?
We're top.
We're top.
Yeah, we're top.
Top man.
It's every year I've seen a different sort of style at Hastings. So when I first come, we were still very youthful, a little bit naive, and then the second season I had was purely possession based. Could actually get a little bit tedious, actually, for especially our opponents, because they were just chasing the ball.
Yeah.
But we produced some great youngsters through it. But this year, I just think that it's the first year where we've got individuals that we could be playing poorly, but we could turn a game on their head, because we got the individuals to cause real damage. A bit like Burgess Hill away, where it was 50-50 for a long time, and then Dave Martin, Hassler, Popey, they link, and within 3 seconds they're 2-0 down. And that's the first time I've had that feeling with this Hastings team, that we can do stuff like that.
Or a certain centre half pops a few goals in as well.
Well, it helps.
Hey.
I think they're number 8 for that. It was brilliant.
Yeah, that didn't go well, did it? No.
It was, and I was close to coming off. Actually, I was in that. I've got tendonitis of my my Achilles at the moment, so first 10-15 minutes I'm playing in a lot of agony. But once it gets going, But I said to her, you might want to get me off here because I was in absolute pain. But as soon as the number 8 put that into my face, Ags knew yeah, it's the young.
Hello, mate.
Right. Yeah, so he knew to keep me on.
Yeah. And
thankfully it all worked out. But that's what I say about timing and being at the right place at the right time with certain clubs. Like, it's just never in my life of, would I've been able to do it at any other team other than Hastings. It seems like, to be 2-1 down within 5 minutes and then come up and score the double is it's just Hastings seems a very lucky club for me for some reason. So.
Okay. Long may that continue. Well, listen, thanks for this. Oh, hello. Right. Well, thanks for this, Gary.
Yeah. No problem.
You're just, is there any message you want to get out to the Hastings fans?
Well, it's just more of the same, really. It's I play on fear a little bit. I'm always worried. I always play a bit of nerves in my belly because I don't want to underperform. And I'll put in 110, and I just want to get the job done, get us over the line, and hopefully they stay stuck behind us because when they're behind us, especially at home, it's serious. Yeah, serious.
Well, thank you very much for this, Gary, and you take it easy, all right, fella?
Top man, been good talking to you, Chris. Thanks a lot,
cheers,
mate.